This podcast is brought to you by Audible. Now, Audible is the number one audiobook platform in the entire world. Now, why I really like this is because audiobooks are great for learning on the go while you're working out, while you're driving, or doing any miscellaneous tasks. Instead of doing something mindless, we can actually be learning and adding to our knowledge base. And you know that we're all about being the greatest versions of ourselves here. And part of that is learning more, applying it, and progressing in our own lives. I've read over 400 books just this past couple years on Audible. You can find anything that you want here. Any type of genre, any type of book. The membership includes one free credit a month, which is basically one free book per month. And books here tend to be much more cheaper than you would have them physically. If you want to try Audible today, you go to audibletrial.com/AG Wellness. That's AUDIBLETRIAL.com/AG Wellness. That is where you'll get your first month for free. Now, let's get to the podcast. The importance of eating organic, farmers markets, and shopping tips. So, why is it important to eat organic? Like, what does that even mean, honestly? So, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, rodenticides, insecticides. Look, the suffix "cide" means to kill, and it is designed to kill smaller things, such as pests, and does this through disrupting their nervous system and their endocrine system. So, that's neurogenic and estrogenic. So basically that interferes with the ability for these things to reproduce and disrupts our hormonal system, and they basically die. So just because these things are a lot smaller than us does not mean it doesn't have an effect on us. We know that it actually dramatically does, just it doesn't kill us right away. And keeping in mind that we are made up of trillions of microorganisms. The data points that we are 4 to 10 times more bacteria cells than we are human cells. Interesting to think about, but what's important about that is that these are very tiny organisms within our bodies. And it turns out we actually have a lot of data showing that it disrupts our microbiome. So going organic as much as we can, it's not about being perfect, but it's about making progress. There's actually a list on the environmental working group where it shows clean 15 and the dirty dozen. And that's just basically a list of the things that you definitely want to get organic and the things that wouldn't be as big of a deal if you didn't. Because a lot of the things with like thick skin on them, like those tend to be less contaminated, of course, because it protects the fruit or the vegetable. But the thing about organic is that there's a lot of loopholes when it comes to it. Like there's a lot of farming practices that actually allow you to put pesticides, even if it's labeled organic. So that's why we have to focus on the sourcing. And there's actually a certification way above organic, which is called biodynamic. And this is basically organic done right, done with integrity, not with any loopholes, not any type of shady nonsense. And a lot of times, if you go to a farmer's market, they automatically do these things. They just don't have the labels because it costs money to have the labels. And have you ever thought about like why real food is actually more expensive than this fake processed nonsense? It's in large part to government subsidies. So the government is basically paying to make processed food cheaper. Now this may have started out with good intentions, but now we have all the data, just like it's quite unnecessary. It's making our population sick. I do recommend going to your local farmer's market as much as you can, targeting the farmer's market, like getting a sense of where your food is actually coming from, getting to have a relationship with farmers. It's a good thing to have part of your life. Like the importance of knowing your sourcing and the quality of things that are coming from, because food just is not food, it's information. It's information that impacts your cells and gives it instructions and what to print out. Because in the science of epigenetics, we know that genes do not cause disease. That is known as genetic determinism, and it's basically, there's no science behind that. It's like less than 1% of all disease is caused by genetics completely. Genetic determinism is essentially teaching victimization. There's nothing you can do about your health, it's just in the cards, and that is total bullshit. Epigenetics gives you the power to have agency over your own health, and that is determined by the lifestyle factors that influence your genes. Influence your gene expression, turn on or off. That is a science called nutrigenomics. Literally, how every food you eat impacts your genetic expression. And the power is in our hands. The less that we give our power away, the more freedom that we have to create our own health in the body and the life that we want. There's a service I'd like to discuss called Thrive Market. Thrive Market is an excellent online grocery store that has everything off of retail prices, where most things are 25 to 50% off. And they do all the vetting, all the high quality things. So when you go to Thrive Market, you know everything is top notch. You don't have to do all this looking around. They do all the things for you, whatever it is you're looking for, paleo, keto, kosher, household cleaning products, personal care, whatever it is. Like Thrive Market is a mecca for wellness, and they really do good for the planet. They give free memberships away to doctors, teachers, veterans. And their mission is really just to serve the world and create a culture of health, which is what we're all about here. I've been using them for quite a while with great success. We've saved so much money, making wellness more accessible, which is how it should be. So I would go to Thrive Market and get yourself set up with that.